all of you. My name is Sarah. I'm from the Filecoin virtual machine team. I'll be around. My teammate Zach is giving a really awesome workshop in the developer lounge. So if you're interested, you can head over there sometime in the afternoon today as well. But here I am together with Nyan. So I'm from developer experience and developer relations for FEM. We've been building with a cohort of early builders for FEM for the past 6 months. There have been many great teams that have come to support us, building with FEM and also in the community, and Nyan is one of them from the Phoenix Guild, so really happy to have you here today.
Thank you, Sarah. This is super amazing. I'm really happy to be here. And we have been working with Filecoin since before FVM. So we have worked with Web3 storage, NFT storage, and then FVM as well. So it's been a great experience, and it's a pleasure to be here today.
Yeah, I love working in the Phoenix Guild. I always see you guys around our hackathons, and you guys are super supportive. Also, I think your whole team of co-founders are all women, so
yes.
Very amazing there. Yeah, very proud of you guys. So why don't you start us off and kind of share a little bit about the Phoenix Guild and what it does, what motivated your team to start it?
Sure. So the Phoenix Guild is a community that is aimed to bring more female and non-binary Web3 developers into the ecosystem. I've been in the Web3 ecosystem for about 7 years now, and I've been developing with various different protocols. I started out as a Solidity smart contract engineer, moved to work on more complex languages like Rust, now working with Cairo, etc. Right? And one of the things that I always found was the fact that there was almost minimal to no support for female and underrepresented developers, and that is something that we wanted to fix, right? There are so many events, there are a lot of networking opportunities, but there are very less opportunities to actually sit and learn things, right? Like learn things end to end. How do you build an end-to-end app? Why does it make sense to work on a particular protocol when it comes to a specific use case? These are the things no one teaches. And these are the things, being in the ecosystem, that can be very overwhelming. And so we see like almost minimal diversity here. And this was one of the core problems that we wanted to fix. So we focus on education, we focus on mentorship, and we work with protocols who are aligned with the same mission. That they want people to build on their protocol because they want to see real use cases, which will come when you are building for the for the masses, right? You can't just exclude a part of the world and just build for crypto bros.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, that's beautiful. And how big is the community today? I mean, it sounds like there's a huge movement. I've seen you guys you girls in different countries as we go along with different blockchain weeks, and you're always there, and you're always holding some kind of workshop, some kind of community session. How has the community grown to date?
So as of today, we have about like 3,000, 4,000 folks on our common Telegram group, which is a global group. And then we work in the format of creating chapters where we educate people in a specific chapter, and then we help them educate others. So we saw that this works well for us from a scalability perspective. So right now we have about like 13 chapters in India and 1 chapter in Malaysia. And as we speak, we are just expanding in other parts of Eurasia. Vanilla here leads the Chennai chapter, which is one of the most popular ones in India.
So. Beautiful, yeah. So we're super glad to have Phoenix Guild interested to build with FEM. We've seen you build project yourself. We've also seen you do some interesting coding challenges on FEM. So what interested you all to decide to build with FEM? And how has the experience been building on FEM?
So, like I said, we started working with Filecoin when we had our first Solidity bootcamp, which was early last year in 2022. And one of the speakers was Ali, who's a DevRel at Filecoin. And from then onwards, we started extensively working with the ecosystem. That's because there was a lot of support from the ecosystem to build in the ecosystem. And this was one of the things that we loved about working in the Filecoin space. And when FVM was introduced, obviously it was one of the interesting things that we could immediately start educating people on, because our previous boot camps were like Solidity boot camps, and people had already learned the basics. And now that they want to combine the idea of storage and compute together, then it made sense to kind of, get involved with FVM. So I myself did a FVM hack, which was...
Wait, when was this?
This was early this year. The what was it? The online hack.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that was pretty big. That was amazing.
Yeah. So we participated in the hackathon, and then we encouraged some of the other team members from the Phoenix Guild also to participate in the hackathon. And from then onwards, people started showing a lot of interest because people were trying to find use cases where they could immediately access storage from a way that they could work with compute as well. So this was very interesting. When FVM was launched earlier, this ability to interact between compute and storage was not there, so there was like a bit of confusion. But apart from that, I think it was very interesting. And then the coding challenges that we created were also part of the educational effort, where we had people go through like create your ERC20 and deploy an FVM contract, like build a simple storage contract and build an ERC721. And once they completed the challenges, they could claim an NFT. So like a good, way to educate people, also fun because you get to, get an NFT.
Just for context, if you guys have not seen the coding challenge that the Phoenix Guild built, it was super cool because we had a space warp theme during that time, and they came in and within like less than a week, they did a whole storyline around having cadets starting their journey and getting to space by storing a storage deal. It was a really fun coding challenge that we could run, and we had a lot of participants joining it as well. And it was perfect because you got people educated to then join in on the big hackathon that we had for FVM. We've been running a few big ones, and Phoenix Guild has always been helping to bring the community into it. Yeah. It was beautiful, yeah. And for yourself, like, I guess now comes like some of the spicier questions. You built an FVM yourself. I've seen you at a few hackathons submitting as well. I love the projects that you have built. What has been some of the challenges that you have faced with building with FVM? How do you find that experience?
I think like just building stuff, deploying contracts on FVM was very simple. It was very straightforward because you just had to add stuff to MetaMask and then you could just use Remix and stuff. But the problem, or rather the confusion was in the narrative that if you're not aware of what FVM offers, you would automatically think that, you can somehow, say for example, call a storage from your Solidity contract, be able to access storage. So the questions that we used to get from developers, and we did a hackathon around March as well, where we gave away FVM bounties. People wanted to access like the NFT related metadata into their contract. And that was something that was not available, and we were not even sure how at an architecture level that will work. So I think that was one of the, because almost everyone who wanted to build, like they thought, oh, now it's just like FVM, like, Filecoin virtual machine. So compute and storage both are available. So there might be just like some APIs that we can use to fetch the data from like, Pinata or something like that. So then when we told them like, no, it's not possible right now, they were quite disappointed. But also I'm sure like after this happened, we started a Filecoin study group, where we started exploring the architecture of Filecoin, because this was a puzzle to us, and this is what we do, right? Like, we don't understand something, we say, okay, we'll start a study group on this. So we started the study group, and that's when we slowly started understanding, like, okay, like this is how storage deals work. Like, this is how you can use the Lotus client to create a storage deal. And then how do you access a storage deal? And when we understand how that happens standalone, and then when we understand how FVM works standalone, then we also are able to figure out, okay, how these architectures would potentially work together. So these were some of the, like, when we try to face challenges like this, like, we try to, dig deeper and try to find the answers.
By the way, we've been working very closely with them as well, and we've gotten some of this very direct feedback, which we appreciate a lot, by the way. So Sneha has been telling us directly, we need more documentation around explaining what FVM can do and how it works together on a storage deal. That has resulted in really good documentation and clear documentation being formed just because of this feedback. So thank you so much for that. And on the NFT APIs piece, we've actually had one of our builders, Rishikesh, build out an NFT API. So you can actually call the metadata from the NFT via your smart contract today with FVM. So yeah, there's a lot more that the community is building around, but getting all this direct feedback on what they're actually looking for is super, super useful. In general, what do you see your community building on FVM, and what do you see interesting about like the future of FVM?
So, like I said, I think FVM, I feel like personally that it's a very revolutionary tech because Filecoin has been known largely for their storage abilities. And there has always been like, how do we connect storage and compute together? And with the like advent of FVM, now that this is possible, I feel like it leads to building more holistic dApps, which is what people look for. Like they don't want to use different services for storage, different services for compute, etc. And if you can optimize that balance, it's gonna be really cool. So that's why I'm really excited about FVM. And we have a very cool project. Actually, the Phoenix Skill Kerala lead, Sneha, she's building a project based on IP rights. And she is very closely working with the FVM community. She was recently part of one of the accelerators, I think Apollo or one of the projects. So she has been giving us some great feedback. And also like she is really enjoying building this like IP-based solution. So yeah, we have one of the community members who's working on that. And then there are other people who have taken forward the Filecoin study group and are just running it as some sort of like standalone stuff.
I mean,
so
anytime you need us to come in as mentors, we're happy to help. And especially on the piece around dApps, there are a lot of integrations coming your way. We've also been hearing from builders that things like, getting the Graph integration, getting more DEXs on board. So we have Sushi, we have Uniswap coming as well for FVM. So I think the dApp space is going to grow a lot more in the coming months. Possibly by next year, there's going, end of this year even, there's going to be a lot more that you can do with FVM. Probably like a next milestone for FVM, right? So super excited to see more projects in that space. And yeah, thanks so much for sharing what your experience with FVM has been, and also continuing to grow like the education and the adoption of FVM as a whole. And if people are interested, if other teams are interested and they want to work with the Phoenix Guild, here's what's your little pitch for them on how they can get started?
Yeah, I mean, if you're interested in learning stuff, you can always join our Telegram group. I'll be here around. It's open to everyone. It's not gender specific, but we like to mentor more women. We want to see more women succeed. So that's the idea. And then if you want to teach, you want to mentor, you're more than welcome to host a workshop with us. And if you're a protocol, you can sponsor our events. We did a road show with FVM where we covered 10 cities in India. So we are largely based in India and Southeast Asia, slowly expanding. So if you're a protocol interested in doing workshops, collaborating with us, feel free to connect with me, and I'm happy to chat.
Yeah, great. So the Phoenix Guild will be around. Thank you so much, again. That was amazing, and we're looking forward to work with you even more for all the hackathons till the end of the year. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Thanks for having me.